Well, hi. I still haven't read Bunny. I will get to it, hopefully. But yeah, it's been a minute. And I got all dressed up today. I had somewhere to go early in the morning, so I'm very tired right now. But I thought that it would be a good opportunity since I was all dressed up with somewhere to go to wrap up the month of March and give y'all a little update on some things that have been going on. So first, a little Fudge update. I have this little guy here. It has some like it's from Revlon. No, I don't have an autofocus on, but you can see it has like little walnuts. It has like a cream cheese top and a little. It's like a cinnamon bun kind of. I called it spice cake, but it doesn't have any nutmeg in it. It's literally just cinnamon brown sugar because I had it in the house, and I wanted to make something different that I hadn't made before. And I'd been making like the cream cheese topper. I haven't made like a whole fudge of that, but I've been kind of like balancing flavors a little bit to get a little bit of cream cheese, a little bit of buttercream, a little bit of just plain cream, mixing flavors together to kind of get that flavor profile. And when I finally uh, got the chemistry right, the the food science correct, I ended up with this little guy, and it tastes really good. It's a little stiff on the top. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of cracked where the layers are. That's because the top is a little bit stiff because I thought that I used too much butter in the bottom, and so I ended up not using enough butter in the top. I'm getting into to fudge talk right now because it's just fun. It's a fun hobby, and I'm looking forward to using this as kind of a way to build community in my neighborhood. I haven't really gotten to know a lot of people. I've gotten to know my direct neighbors, but I haven't actually gotten to move around and socialize with other people. And um, I've been talking with my neighbor about possibly going to like a little nearby park and having just a little neighborhood gathering and using Fudge as bait to get to know me. So, you know, hopefully that'll work out. And maybe in the next update or a future update, I can talk about that too. But this isn't about Fudge. I want to give a writing update in a separate video, but I've been doing a lot of that too. But I want to wrap up what I did read in March. I only read two books, but that's okay. I don't know. I haven't really read anything in April. I've started uh, a couple of good books. Bunny being one of them, and another is Sugar by Bernice McFadden. I want to read both of those this month, and as of today, as of me making this recording, it's April 13th, which means that I would have a lot of time to do it. I would have enough, but writing has kind of taken over my life right now. But anyway, the two books that I read in the month of March are The Collaborators by Michael Idov and These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever. Nemerever? If I mispronounce that, I'm really sorry. It's excellent book. I ended up putting this one in my favorites. So we'll get to that one last. But The Collaborators by Michael Idov, I gave this one 3 stars, mostly because I kind of lost track of the plot, and I'm really having trouble remembering what I read with this book. Um, it was the first one that I read in March, but it jumped around so much. There was a bit of a cycle with it where you kind of knew what was coming. And usually when that happens, I tend to zone out because it's like, oh, well, this is just going to end up being the same. And it wasn't until the end of the book that I started to catch on a little bit more, where it kind of broke the mold that it was following initially. But the problem is, is I don't exactly remember what the mold was. I know this was a story of Ari Falk. He's a CIA officer traveling the globe. He meets up with this woman, Maya, and it that happens about a third of the way in. She is an heiress. Her father has disappeared, And with Ari, the people around him, his connections are also being disappeared in certain ways. And both of them kind of join forces to figure out what the heck is going on. I don't know if I remember much of it, and I guess this is why I gave it 3 stars. Vogue said that this was the best book of the year. Um, so that's something. If you trust Vogue. Oh, I will say this though, because you do meet some characters who are, uh, and this is going into politics, but I mean, it's like, what else do you have to talk about in the United States now? There was this one character who was an immigrant to the United States, and he talked about how the United States treats immigrants so well, and how like the goal is to provide a better life. It was a very positive sentiment from this character, and this book I think was published in 2024, like late 2024. And I'm sitting here like, dang, I should not be nostalgic for 2024. And I've noticed this with a lot of other books where I'm reading it and I'm like, well, this was so recent, but so much has changed over the past year that it's like I'm looking into a lens of something that doesn't exist or never existed. And that's strange. I had to go back and read the line that I read in this book specifically. I did put the quote in my Goodreads um, just to save it, just to put it there. So I guess that was also part of the 3 stars. That's something that kind of pulled it up a little bit because those statements kept my focus, and I can be sure that it was not the author's intent for those sections to hit as heavy as they did. But moving into These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever, uh, this was this was a crazy ride. This was male romance thriller, and I made that face because I'm like, ooh, was it? Because it was very. I mean, it was, but there was so much codependency between the characters. Like they meet at school, and it's like they slowly become tethered together. And there were these moments where I caught myself like biting my fingers or my fingernails. Um, Pretty sure I drooled at one point. But these characters are so dynamic. And honestly, like the side characters in this story, they didn't stand out as much to me. The mom did, but Paul and Julian are the two main characters, and they stood out so much that we really didn't have to pay attention to the side characters very much. They didn't have to have like this big, loud, bold personality to be part of the story. And I also believe that this was Micah Nemerever's debut novel, and it was just so good. The prose was so good. Yeah, just imagine yourself being in a relationship where you just feel so dependent on the other person being around, and it's like they get you, but at the same time it's like an obsession. I mean, you obsess over this person even in your dreams. You would do anything for this person. Also, at the same time, like a secret life, because this was back in the 1970s. So you have these two teenagers, Paul and Julian, who would sneak out and just to meet each other. So there was also this added rush just in that alone. I'll probably reread it again at some point because as some of the pieces started coming together about the relationship and how because this is all from Paul's perspective, but you get to kind of figure Julian out a little bit more along the way too. So upon reread, it would probably a lot of things would probably click. Some of the things that Julian did in the beginning toward the middle of the book. But yeah, Really good book. I gave this 5 stars, obviously. And then there was one book, and I had to pull it up because I couldn't remember the name. I hate to have to do this because this was also his debut. And this is probably going to be something that I talk about when I talk about writing. My writing wrap up or whatever update. A Fair System, probably. Episode 1, Please Maintain Position by Ken Mazika. When I read this, when I pulled this out, it had no reviews, no ratings at all, except for his own. And I was reading through it. I was like, "Ooh, this is like a fresh book. This is something completely new." It was really short too. It's like on Goodreads, I'm looking at it now. It says 100 pages, so it was like a novella. It was very short. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna zip through this." I love the cover. It's just a door, like an intake door. And it's white, so it feels very sterile, very like prisony in a way. So I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be interesting." And then I cracked it open, and I saw that it was a little confusing, especially how the characters met each other. I think the main character's name was Chase, and the friend's name's Rocco. Um, could be wrong. Might be forgetting that, but I think that those are the two characters. The way that they met in the beginning was a little bit weird. Rocco was like pounding on somebody, and it kind of seemed like Chase didn't know who he was, and they ended up just kind of meeting and going off on this venture really quickly. And that was one of the issues that I had, was that it jumped from scene to scene a little bit too fast. I think we ended up camping in the desert, and there was this place, this strange room that was like an arcade off to the side, and there was an odd interaction with the security guard that randomly showed up. I was very disoriented. I didn't necessarily know exactly where I was. And there was one trigger when I was reading it that was like, let me run this through an AI checker. So I copied and pasted the passage, I put it in the AI checker, and sure enough, it was like 99% AI. And I was like, oh, great. Um, I had already been bamboozled by somebody who I was doing beta reads for, which is another topic I want to make a video for. One of my rules is that I don't review uh, AI generated content as a beta reader. And so when it slipped through the cracks and I was giving this person all of these compliments, it really kind of pissed me off. And so reading this, being really excited about providing a review for someone who wrote his debut novella and put it out there for the world to see, which I'm so excited for these debut authors who put themselves out there, because it's something that I haven't done, and it helps encourage me to just work my ass off and get my own book out there. But when I see that it's written by AI, it feels like someone just stabbed you in the gut, because it's like, oh, well, you just put a bunch of prompts in and spit this out, and that's why it's so just disjointed and disorienting, because um, AI doesn't really know how to make sense of something. Like you put in the basic plot pieces, and it just does the best it can, but there's like no passion and no joy in the book, and that's ultimately what forced me to check to see if it was written by AI, and sure enough, I was right. So yeah, there is an influx of authors who are of new authors who are using AI to write their novellas and their books, and I hate the fact that now, um, if I read a book that's been published more recently, then I'm gonna feel inclined to put it through an AI checker just to see. Um, and I worry that people are gonna think the same about my book too, because I do use M dashes, but that's because I am a writer. I have been doing this for 10 years. I have used M dashes even before AI was a thing. But yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. I DNF'd this, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that, but I was very disappointed. especially after, you know, being excited to read it, just like I was excited to beta read for someone whose prose I thought was really good. But that's just a rant. And those are the books that I read in March of 2026. I'm not going to include the DNF in the books that I would encourage you to read. Usually I do, I think. I think I've talked about DNFs before, but I really want you guys to, you know, formulate your own opinions about those books, but I don't feel good about promoting books that I know are written by AI. So, of the two that I talked about, the Collaborators and These Violent Delights, the link to my list, so you can see for yourself, is in the description below. Check that out. Read some of their spoiler-free reviews and their descriptions. And if you are further convinced, you can head on over to your local library or use your library app to check them out, or purchase them from a retailer if you're feeling brave. If you enjoyed this video for whatever reason, do leave a like and a comment down below. Otherwise, have a great day and happy reading.